Gentlemen, please verify your streams. Omari, verify your stream.
Wake up, it's a brand new day. Let's get down on the good news train. Have your morning coffee with Mario every Monday. Get the 311 before the morning's done. Laugh until you cry. You can always rely on morning coffee with Mario every Monday. Morning coffee with Mario.
Yes! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Morning Coffee with Mario, the show where I return to the world of the living after first starting off the day with a Viagra and a Red Bull. That kind of gets me going, just to get ready for you guys in the morning. So it's required. So I want to say good morning. And I'm never here alone. Never, ever. Because even though I built this ship and I know it like the back of my hand, I'm not the one who drives it. Sitting in the driver's seat over there, working 3 video switchers while live on the air, is the man that the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Victor Allen, give it up. Oh, what's happening, Chocolate?
I decided not to show myself. What's up, everybody? So I have to get ready, man, because this Monday seemed like this is going to be Attack of the Clones, right, bro?
Yeah, well,
It's Attack of the Clones, you guys. Get ready. Take the smile off your face. Take the smile off your face.
well, we have we have a lot of things happening. Today is also the first day of Mr. Omari Bakari at the broadcast.
Good morning, everybody.
What's
Glad to
happening?
join you.
People been wanting to see you.
Well, now I've been revealed, thanks to you. I know my Facebook family are wondering what I'm doing. I'm just a guest, just checking this out and having a little fun, but we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm glad I could share.
Well, I want everyone to know that Omari is more than just a pretty face. He is the voice of Compton. The Compton, it's a long history of Compton. As you know, I had a long history of mopping floors in Compton, and many a morning was spent mopping floors in Compton. But Omari has a better history in Compton than I, and he's going to be bringing and adding that whole community focus to the broadcast. So that's just one of the things. So he's also a publisher, a writer, and so he has added new words to the Pack Stereo vocabulary, words like Sankofa. Because if you were confused enough with ethos, you now,
That's Jack.
Victor Allen's ethos, you now have Omari Bakari's Sankofa.
Yeah.
Omari, explain that briefly to the people.
Well, we're looking at our past, remembering where we came from, and we're charting a path into our future, into the digital age, as a matter of fact. So I'm looking forward to getting into that with you, too. But, yeah, a lot of stuff is happening in Compton. They just had the groundbreaking for the new Compton High School. Dr. Dre showed up and recommitted another $10 million to the project. So
Whoa.
That's kind of cool.
it's about
Like
to
it,
go
man.
down.
Like
See?
it.
Tar Babe for life.
See, he's bringing shit already. He's
Tar
bringing
Babe for life.
Already
valuable
paid up.
information.
But I guarantee you, ethos is easier to spell than Sankofa.
I'll leave that up to the community at large. Okay, one of the other things that happened good is that Pack Stereo, as recently announced, has received our Starlink.
Yeah.
So give it up for Starlink.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Starlink is one of Elon Musk's recent ventures, the creator of SpaceX and Tesla. And he's got, I believe it's 3,000 satellites. There's plans for many more. And he's launched this network, and the idea is to provide connectivity anywhere in the world. anywhere in the world. So our Starlink package came, and then we'll be uploading some videos about it. And it was great. Wonderful. First of all, the damn thing came without a piece of paper in it. And then they tell you to go to an app, and the app doesn't explain anything. There's no help, nothing. Just do this. Go outside, hit this button, and aim the phone at the sky. That's what they tell you. I'm serious. And so, Mari was there, and the marijuana had nothing to do with it, I'm telling you. But we were just kind of mystified. But anyway, we ultimately followed the instructions. We went outside and aimed the phone at the sky. And on the phone, the sky lit up with dots, right? And Mari was like...
Yeah, it was amazing. But you know what? You said anywhere. You can't get Starlink in Baltimore or Milwaukee. Mm-mm.
Really?
No.
Well, see, it's so... Okay. First of all, it's being rolled out around the country in different places. So that's one of the things we're finding. And then there's this whole thing, even though I thought I was going to be able to use it anywhere, they just hit me up for $25 more a month.
To use it anywhere.
Use it anywhere. So the Starlink Mobile is $25. Okay, so theoretically, there's going to be another update that allows you to use it on a moving vehicle. So like an RV going down the highway, you'll be able to log into YouTube. Now, the way it is normally, you're supposed to go to a spot, log in again, reassign your location, and then go. So we can go live from the Congo.
Yeah, but after you figured out what was going on, we had connectivity all over the property.
All
over
everywhere,
the property.
Everywhere, better than our
Inside
regular
and
wireless.
outside.
So we're gonna be using it's the Pack Stereo Starlink, right, Vic?
That's it, man. That's
Give it up.
Just like we have Pack Stereo Verizon. We do have Verizon, don't we?
No, we don't. We pay for Verizon. We have Spectrum is our provider, and I'm not, we don't get paid any endorsement or any, that would be a nice idea if they would give us a discount, but no, we don't. But right now we say we think that Spectrum is perhaps the best of the providers we've experienced, and we just tell you what we experienced. We don't get anything for it, but we use the regular connections they do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They're the fastest, though.
Yeah.
Spectrum.
Yeah, I just wanted people to know you can believe anything when it's on the internet, right?
Oh, well.
Almost.
I didn't know she was 18. She looked 19. I'm just telling you.
See where you went? How long did that take? 10 minutes.
Not even that long.
10 minutes.
A lot of stuff's going on, you guys. So the First Lady went to the Ukraine, snuck in there. So I was like, you went to the
How much money did they drop off? Did she have the money bag? Is that what she went for?
She probably had some vapes. Because, they don't search you on the presidential.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
But she went to Ukraine and, in a sign of solidarity. And I must admit, it's going to be that kind of a broadcast today. We're going to get into some topics because I have to admit, one of the things I do not understand, or maybe I do understand, is war. Because if Russia's going to sit down and talk to Ukraine, what the hell is there to talk about? I mean, what do you say? You're kicking my ass. Are you going to slow up to talk? Why?
Would you please stop?
Yeah, you can't. You didn't have to come in and kick my ass. Yeah. So I don't get it. So I don't understand. And then it always seems that it's attacking civilians.
Well, the part I don't get is how the First Lady can take that trip to Ukraine. Now, they're from Delaware. I bet she never even stopped in Baltimore. Baltimore is a war zone. Go fix that shit. Well, there you go. Go help Baltimore out.
Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, in the urban setting, opinions are rampant. And representing Compton, I'm just saying. All right, we got a few other things. Vic, what do you bring into Ethos today, Vic? What do you?
I probably will have the light-hearted content since we are already probably going to run probably 2 hours after he get done and you get done, because I see you already ready to shift into fifth gear. I'm all right. So Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm gonna take some of the light off of him because he's kind of hot. Man, look at that,
hot.
he's kind of hot.
well,
I
one.
thought I was on fire because of the red.
Yeah, hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Do we do it real? We fix it. We
Oh,
don't have
yeah,
to
it
prove
doesn't
We
matter.
Can't call nobody.
Mine is this. First of all, I always recognize a higher achievement, and I'm going to see a dedication to somebody who recently graduated. Also, HBCUs or not to be HBCUs. The best HBCUs and the one that I think everybody's going to pay attention to. Which one has the best parties? You'll be surprised who's in the top national ranks, not just HBCUs.
And we
Total
want to know who's
university.
ranking them because we don't take that personally.
Yeah, all right, there you go.
We're gonna take it
ranked?
There
personally.
you go. There you go. See, I'm just letting you know. So, for the most part, this is an HBCU recognition. Nothing else fits into my ethos today. I'm just going to chill and let you guys set it off. Do your
All
thing.
right.
Well, I thank you. I like that.
I like that too. All right, Alexa, sing Good Morning.
You're gonna have, I bet
Alexa, sing Good Morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
All right, Alexa, you're disappointing me so far today. Rap.
Thank you.
Alexa, rap.
my people want to hear you rap.
See, that's kind of messed up, Alexa.
That's all right.
You can't even get the artificial intelligence that right. Here you go. He spent all his damn money. He trying to stay out the ghetto. He just on the other side of the fence.
So what are you saying? There's
I'm
no,
just saying,
there's
Alexa.
no natural language processing in the hood?
Rap. I don't know.
Hey, it's me, Alexa, and I'm wired for fun. Got fiction, predictions, I'm killer with a pun. I'm the Speaker of the House, best jester of all time. Knock, knock, who's there? It's me with the punchline.
Yeah, Alexa. And Alexa, how do you rate your performance? Okay.
Here's something I found on the web. According to redbag.com, 4 or 5 point rating scales are the most common scales used to rate performance.
Who gives a shit, Alexa? Who gives? Okay, thank you.
Now you're talking nerdy.
Thank
to
you.
us.
We're going to get back to it. All right. So let's talk about the first topic of the day. Kevin Samuels is dead. For those of you who don't know, and I have to tell you, I had to go back and look because I typically avoid these kinds of broadcasters. Okay, I typically do. So I know who he was primarily because of the women who called me up upset with his broadcast. Mario, have you seen this guy, Kevin Samuels? He must hate women. I'm like, well, why are you watching him? Driving up his ratings.
Right.
With his 1.4 million YouTube subscribers. But I actually got calls from women complaining about him. And so I went and looked, and I know this kind of stuff. And to me, it's like shock media, except, in some ways you could accuse me of aspects of that. But, ultimately they're very over the top and, to me, completely feigning intelligence and basically attacking women with this pseudo-intelligent veneer because he's really full of shit. I mean, I sit and listen to him and I see just holes in his discussions that are actually ridiculous. And also, the people he even chooses to debate on air. He selects a certain type of woman to talk about and then proceeds to do it with, like I said, man, we have friends. We even have a friend who says it's
What kind of woman does he talk about?
the kind that one of our friends says he loves to go out and search for in the clubs. He says he needs a woman with low self-esteem. Right. We got one of our buddies, he'll go unnamed, right?
Yeah.
He says, I need a woman with low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem.
Yeah.
So Kevin Samuels, this is the kind of thing. He's 53 years of age and supposedly complained of chest pain and then collapsed. They did CPR and he died. Now, the first thing that comes up in these kinds of discussions to me is, should you say bad things about dead people? I'm like, well, I say, yes, you totally say bad things about bad people when they're alive. And then when they're dead, you say, what, are you supposed to now speak kindly? That's one of those old time things that's just really bullshit. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Now, when you're dead, so long, asshole. We're not supposed to, well, there's someone who loves him. There was someone who loved him when he was alive. He was still an asshole. So we're not looking out for them. It's not virtuous. Okay, so I have no trouble talking about these kind of brothers. I wish I could have debated him in person.
Well, I didn't know. I never heard of him until I saw the post about him passing. But I guess he had as many fans as he had enemies.
Well, you know, I mean, again, I didn't spend a lot of time watching him because I don't watch this type of stuff. I watch some and enough to develop an opinion. I know this. It's a formula to me. Yeah. You know, it's like Larry Elder-esque with other stuff mixed in. You know, it's like a formula. Attack black people for the people who don't feel cool and then feel like they need to come back and attack black people because in their childhood they had an issue and I don't want to go through all that.
That's why I never heard of it.
Self-hate.
I'm not going to listen to someone attacking my people. We ain't going to. It's not that kind of party.
Well, the first question I was raising is when people like this pass, like Mr. Samuels, should we speak ill of them? Now, I gave my opinion. I'm asking the forum here, Victor Allen and Omar.
Mine is easy. First of all, respect the family who loves them because it's not their fault. Secondly, if you're talking about legacy, you talk about legacy. You don't change the legacy. You know, that's just the way it is. If that's what you stood for, that's it. It's a difference if you're wishing for him to be dead. That's not the case here. This is about eliciting the response of what his legacy was. That doesn't change. Just the same way as we do this. When somebody over-delivers, becomes a legacy, an iconic figure, we talk about them in that way. Nothing's changed here. I believe a lot of people do it for the straight shock. I think that's what they want. I think people feed off of that. I think he feeds off of that. And you have to go there to affect people. So that's his choice. Now, they get caught up. Let them get caught up.
Well,
I think that I don't know enough about this guy to speak on him, but I would agree if someone has a particular lifestyle and whether they're alive or they're past or deceased, their legacy is their legacy. We have to own that.
Yeah. True.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think he's going to be more famous dead than alive, especially now. And so, I don't know. Like I said, we don't wish ill of anyone, but now that the universe has felt the need to take you, well, so long, motherfucker. Okay, all right. Okay.
And you know what?
Being well dressed doesn't mean you have character.
Yeah. I mean, what else you want me to say?
Yeah.
I don't need to sit in there and do a whole tirade, but bye.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another thing, which I thought was interesting. The Biden administration, the disappointing Biden administration, announced that they were going to be soon offering or encouraging investing in a low-cost, high-speed internet network. That would be around $30 a month for people who qualify. And once again, I like to say thank you for nothing. Okay? Thank you for nothing. That's what they need today in people who are low income and struggling is another $30 a month bill for something. No. First of all, Mr. Biden, let me tell you and your administration, along with the other Americans, nationwide free Wi-Fi has been on the block for a while. Okay, so you're going to get that speed for free. And of course, you'll be able to spend a little money for high speed. $30 a month is more than what is projected for you to pay for high speed. So not only is it not a deal, it's not even a good price. So thank you for nothing.
Well, you see now I guess you're going to talk about Biden having enough balls to do something about Trump's legacy. But, you know, the Able Foundation did a study a few years ago, and they looked at 33 cities. One of those cities was Baltimore. I got to go back to Baltimore. 60% of the population there didn't have access to the internet, and the company offering internet services to low-income people for $10 a month, they couldn't afford that. So we don't need a $30 a month internet. You know, we need to go back to the times where the people controlled, when we own the airwaves. The government doesn't own the airwaves. Let the signal go. Send the Wi-Fi out there.
Well, you know, again, shocking us with the information that should be known, right, Omari, what you're telling us, and then realize that that's available in Baltimore. And I wonder what it is in Puerto Rico, where those are American citizens, where we have yet to invest in a grid. This one we're responsible for. Yeah. We fund them. We pay for everything there, and nothing is being done there. No industry actually gets discouraged because of the way the money flows. Okay, and so the local industry does nothing because they get bid out. You know, they can't compete with the prices from the stuff that's being shipped in. So you stifle local industry. You don't invest in the infrastructure, and then you're pumping money everywhere else. So this is what I'm talking about.
So there was, as far as the federal government is concerned, there's no difference in one administration enacting net neutrality and another administration repealing it, because the same stuff is going on.
There you go. With net neutrality, which we recognize that most of you are still, we recognize some of these topics we're going to need to define for you. So we're going to be doing some programming. Omari Bakari with the Compton Journal.
Uh-oh.
I already gave you a name, right?
Well, that's the name he had before. So okay. Yeah. So that's one thing. Now,
Mario says we should bring that back. I don't know how the city of Compton would feel about having a newspaper. They've got some good journalists down there that they don't support, but
well, you and I specifically are working on that issue of what is a newspaper.
Yeah,
you know, because all the stuff we're talking about is digital, anyway. Exactly. So you know, all right. So now, I went and looked it up. The January 6th committee.
Really fell asleep.
January 6th committee. See, this is what happens. Who's been meeting forever, so you fall asleep because you don't know what's going on. Does anybody know what's going? Anybody know anywhere?
They're still asleep.
The January 6th committee. What's going on?
No,
well, they just announced they're going to have public hearings in June. Okay, so here we go. Because this is all part of the issue. That's why I'm bringing it up. The midterm elections, I had to go look up. When are the midterm elections? The midterm elections are November 8th. Okay, so theoretically, historically, the administration that comes in new does poorly because usually people, because they promise all that shit, then they get in office and don't do shit, and then everybody's disappointed. So that's what is the usual routine. So by the time the midterms, it's usual for the other party to make gains. So everybody's worried about November 8th. Okay, so everybody was predicting because Biden, Mr. Milquetoast, wasn't doing well in the numbers. Well, of course, because he's not pleasing anybody. And part of the thing is, to me, I've been telling everybody, is his problem is that his failure to take on and demonize Trump, which is what he deserves. Trump is he's the most documented liar in all the history of mankind. Let me say that again. He is the most documented liar in all the history of mankind. No one comes close to him. You understand? You're following a person. Just that alone
the
should
devil
stop.
is a lie.
Yeah. He's the most documented
The devil
liar in the
is a
history
lie.
of mankind, and you following him. Well, you know, okay, well, there was Jonestown, too.
So, what silence is compliance? Does that apply to Biden or the Democrats?
Well, he's
they're
felt-
going to let them get away with it.
And that makes it look like he didn't do anything. It makes him look that what he. So you're not going to get the insurrectionists. You're not going to challenge Trump. Biden doesn't want to talk about it. The states get to make their own immunization policy. He confronts nobody on any issue except he speaks well on international things. And this is him. So he's going to allow Trump to continue to exert his influence, a man who should be in jail. And Biden's reasoning, well, he wants to stay out of it and let the other people handle it. Let justice go its course. And then you put Merrick Garland, the limp weenie of that you have in there heading up the Department of Justice. Just think this shithead was someone they were going to put. This was Obama's choice for the Supreme Court. Remember that. This was Obama's choice for the Supreme Court. Merrick Garland, he didn't get in because of the Republicans.
Put the link up where people can write their congressman.
Yeah, stop. I love that one. Wait a minute. Say that again. Say it again, bro.
Put the link up so you can write your congressman and senator and tell them.
Yeah,
to get
Google
in their
that.
ass. Get in Biden's punk ass.
Wait a minute. Can I do a survey? A 10-second survey. Watch this. What did you guys expect as far as change and challenge from Biden on a scale of 1 to 10 that he would do change and challenge? 1 to 10, realistically. Anybody?
1. Not even 1.
Not even
I
1.
voted for Marion
I
Williams.
gave him a 3.
Mario's disappointed. Mario's disappointed because he gave away 2 extra points.
When he played Ice Cube like that and said, "I'll talk to you after the election," Ice Cube was still sitting by the phone,
Yeah, listen.
waiting for the call
Listen.
after the election.
There's a thing called relief valve. Nobody wants to say it. And he was a relief valve from somebody else who many of us call Captain Orange. So I didn't expect him. I mean, his legacy is already kind of carved out. And here's the thing that I think he's hoping on. Every president saves after the midterm. It's a historical fact that all midterms tend to have low president ratings, and then they pull something out of their hat. And the one I chose, I don't know. I have not done any research. I said I think he's going to pull out trying to relieve the college loans. I think he's going to try to do that as his
They
win
tried,
this
Vic,
time.
Vic, you know, like we said, we know that at the midterms they historically go. I'm telling you because they lie
Right.
Well,
during the election, and by the time the midterms roll around, everybody's already pissed.
yeah,
That's
well,
what I'm saying.
I'm pissed. Wait, first of all, I think when they gave us this holiday, Juneteenth, that we was going to be cool with that, but you can't celebrate the freedom of being enslaved in one day. And even though the folks in Texas got the news late, how is that helping our situation, a holiday?
Well, that's what I'm saying. These are irrelevant things that they make stands on that are wonderful, and especially they're wonderful for doing both parties for giving you gifts that don't involve money.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you sneak over to Ukraine and talk about giving them $40 billion to help their situation. We've got people here that need help.
Well, that's the thing.
So-
America. We said America first.
Yeah.
If only Biden had a teeny bit of what the Trump people do, they still want to fight. The Democrats are still doing nothing.
Yeah.
This is the issue, as I say, as they approach the midterms. Let me leave you with this point. They were headed for disaster, but now, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know. And you want me to tell you why you don't know? Because something happened that no one accounted for. The Supreme Court, and I don't think I didn't hear anyone mentioning that it was pending, had a decision on Roe versus Wade. Justice Alioto wrote a draft of the opinion. This is the pretending. This they've already met, and so he wrote a draft, a rough draft. That was leaked. That showed their stance on Roe versus Wade, which is the federal law that was guaranteeing the rights.
So who was the leak? Was it Thomas' wife, or she fucking shit up here?
Well, we don't know. Who knows where the leak came from? Even though I'm all for leaks anyway.
Yeah,
usually,
we need a good leak. Matter of fact,
I need to take a leak. I mean, no, I can hold it.
Oh, but Lord have mercy.
we need a good
But
leak.
let me
in the
remind
Supreme
you.
Court, because again, they're not being honest with the people. Why would you need a leak? Why would they be discussing that and writing a draft and it?
Let me frame the story. So, in the course of the way that the judgments are presented, it's always up to one person to write the opinion for the group. Okay, that's what was leaked. Now the point is, because they know that Roe versus Wade is going, okay, that they know that it's going to be a topic. Because I want to get back to what my point was. This is what's going to actually save the Democrats. See, there's not anything good that Biden's going to be really pointing to, even though you could argue he's done some things. It's going to be the lack of bad. So, one of the things that the Democrats are now going to ride is the Republican stance on abortion. See, because of the Supreme Court ruling, it gives the Democrats a solid issue to run into the ground. So now, between now and November 8th, the Republicans are going to drum this into the ground. Excuse me, the Democrats. See, the Republicans want to talk about immigration, your borders, different spending things. See, and the Democrats wanted to talk about, I don't know. You got to go ask Biden. Okay, now they get to talk about abortion. And they get to say to all the Republican districts, how you feel about that abortion? How you feel about abortion? Now, it's going to be a hot issue for Democrats running into the midterm. In fact, I submit to you, it will be the number one issue for the Democrats going into the midterm election. And they're going to hammer this home about what it means, what the Republicans have done. And I want you to take a close look at what Trump has done. You guys let that asshole appoint 3 Supreme Court justices. Think about what you just did. The most documented liar in the history of all of mankind. By 1,000,000%. You just let that piece of add 3 Supreme Court justices. And you let him do it. And get away with it. And he still gets to hang around and go to rallies, and he's not in jail. And Biden he really don't want to say his name. And he think that that's a policy of success. This is exactly why he looks so bad. Because the people who got him elected, they're all disappointed in him. And let me tell you something. He used to be able to say he did something good on COVID. He didn't even do that. You still lack a national infrastructure to deal with infectious disease. The United States of America does not have an infrastructure. Still. A coordinated infrastructure to monitor and respond to diseases. That should have existed 10 years ago.
Right.
I'm telling you as a physician. Just like, do you remember when the police didn't communicate? Didn't share information, actually competed against each other and withheld information? Remember that? Same kind of stuff happens between other government agencies. That's why you're not getting. So there is no national infrastructure to deal with disasters. So, of course, if COVID ain't going to be the last one, it's going to be the same ones. And if you think that grid in Texas, there are 3 grids in the United States, right? East, West, and Texas. Okay.
at Texas.
Okay, that's the three grids.
Don't mess with Texas.
Texas got their own grid. You think
Don't
that's
mess
so?
with 'em.
Get ready to rescue those people.
They certainly have influence on school books.
They certainly, that's over the time. The last topic I'm going to raise today is the one that we're actually going to be talking about more in the future because, ladies and gentlemen, I have to be honest. In reviewing the topic, I felt a need to educate myself further. Abortion. Abortion. Disturbing. I don't like to, but I think it's relevant in the discussion of abortion for me to identify myself where I sit. I've had abortions. I've had abortions. Now, I will say this. I'm 65 years of age. I've known people who've had abortions, my friends. I have not heard of, know of one person who's ever, in any kind of way, been proud of having abortion. Nobody. Not the most hoish, craziest, drug-using, crazy people, whatever we are, the people who get pregnant and get abortions. I have never met one person who felt good about it. Not one. Male or female. Not one. Okay? It's a personal decision that hurts. And that scars you the rest of your life. Again, I don't know anybody. And I know many people who've had abortions, and I know most of them, when you bring it up, you will see the expression on their face change. Okay? You will see them take a breath. So let me put that on the front of this, because this is a difficult topic, but I want to discuss it from that angle because it is personal. It's personal for me. Anyway, the discussion is relevant because there's so many factors to this. In other words, what I'm saying is, regardless of where you stand on abortion, you're going to have to deal with groups of others who feel differently. And then you say, well, if we're going to determine policies that affect our community, okay, if we're going to determine policies that affect the black community, let me tell you something. The first problem you're going to have is you're not going to find any uniformity in the black community.
Right.
None. Not even close. So let me talk about some of the things that are disturbing. The abortion rate for black women is 5 times that of white women. Let me say that again. The abortion rate for black women is 5 times that of white women. Now let me tell you, when I first read that, heard that, I thought about what that meant to me. But then I thought about, too, what it meant to other people. There are black organizations who interpret that as being activity against the black community. They feel that the fact that black women have such a high level of abortion, okay, some say that it was because it was being marketed heavily to black women. I haven't seen abortion marketed ad anywhere, any place, at any time. If anybody else has seen one, please let me know.
No.
So I don't know how I haven't seen any marketing of abortion.
No.
They said, oh, abortion providers. So that really means Planned Parenthood.
Right.
So they're against Planned Parenthood, which among their services, one of which is abortion. But they also do contraceptive care, general female care, all of that, along with abortion services, because that's the debate, whether abortion services are actually part of female services. That's the discussion you're having. But so a bunch of these groups specifically target Planned Parenthood and say that Planned Parenthood is a scourge on the black community because they provide abortions in the black community. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. Okay, I'm just going to leave that for a minute. But that's one of the things. Now, one of the things that it appeared to me and that I did find, because I had, this is how much stuff I got to review. Just my printouts. I didn't even, and that's after reading online. But this is my first impression when hearing black women having, see, I bet I will ask you, I know you have your first impression. I said black women have 5 times the rate of abortion. Now, I want you to, you already have developed opinion as to why. And let me tell you what my first reaction was as a healthcare provider. The reason why they have 5 times the rate of abortion is because they can't get contraceptive health care. See, this is what people don't understand. And this is what one of the articles I read said, and I agree with the lady. She said virtually every abortion, I'll read it again. Virtually every abortion is the result of an unintended pregnancy. Okay, I'll say that again. Almost every abortion is the consequence of an unintended pregnancy. That's why they're getting the abortion. They did not mean to get pregnant. Now, for various reasons, they have an unintended pregnancy. Now, as a pediatrician, I can tell you what was alarming about teenagers is like they had, when they got pregnant, they weren't even trying birth control. They weren't even trying when they got pregnant. So that happens with a bunch of adults. Why are they having unintended pregnancy? See, that's what it really is. Now, you have unintended pregnancy higher in the Hispanic women. Okay, unintended pregnancy. That means you have as a doctor, that means you have a population that's not getting contraception. Either they're not being educated about contraception, or it's not available to them. Could it be their religious practices that are getting in the ways of contraceptive care? But that's one of the things Planned Parenthood provide. So my thing I always say is if you don't want abortion, at least get really behind contraception. In other words, prevent people from getting pregnant. Stop having unintended pregnancy. Because the black population, the same black population that I've been arguing with throughout COVID, remember my arguments were that you weren't getting health care. Part of that health care would have been contraceptive education. So you wouldn't have unintended pregnancies. See, if you have 5 times the abortion, do you have 5 times the rate of unintended pregnancy? And that's what we got to deal. Why are we getting pregnant? And I'm suggesting to you, if those same black people were getting health care, part of health care would be to ask them. At Kaiser, that's part of protocol. You get to a certain age, we start asking you. We start having your parents sit outside. Parents are first on nerve. Why you got to be with the doctor by yourself? Because they got stuff to ask them that they don't want to discuss in front of the parents. We got to start at some point in time as pediatricians treating them as individuals. And if I'm going to do sexual counseling, what age do you think I need to bring up sex to a child? 15? How many? Yes, that would be a big mistake. See, this is little things like that. What is the age at which we need to bring up sex with a child? Now, if you ask the pediatricians, you're going to get a different answer than what America wants.
Right.
See, our answer is based on when they start having sex. So we go to look at when they start having sex in significant numbers, and we want to start counseling them a year or so, I guess, ahead of that, right? So that's like 11.
So what age group?
It's like 12.
11.
11 or 12.
Wow. Elementary school.
I'm just saying, when do you think that they start becoming active? See, this is where the parents get shocks. See, this is where the parents get shocks.
Wow.
See, so we want to talk to them younger than you. 12, 13. Oh, please. See, 13 is the danger zone to me now. 13. Oh. If there was an age I hated as a pediatrician, I think it's 13. But somewhere between 13, 14, 15, they're pretty. Remember how you were. I'm just saying. So what age, if you want to start talking to the people, okay, this is what I used to say in my old ghetto way. If I have to double take on the child, if I'm looking at a young girl and I got to double take on her, we need to be protecting her. In other words, at what age do you start seeing them looking like women, Omari?
They're young. They're getting young.
Victor, what age do they look like women to you?
Very young, very young. But you know, you're hitting the nail on the head. It's a correlation with the healthcare, the lack of with people of color. It's always existed. It is something that shows its face, especially during COVID and beyond, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better.
It's the sexualization of our children also.
Yeah.
We allow them to be sexualized, and then we'd be surprised when they have sex. This is what gets me. We sexualize them, then you're surprised that they have sex.
Right.
Really? Okay. But anyway, we're going to be talking more about this later. I'm just bringing out some of the things that we're going to have to talk about. And I know Amari is sensitive to it like I am, because thinking about the groups that we got to argue with, Amari,
Right.
you know, those are groups we're kind of familiar with, those community groups and folks who have those kinds of leanings. And to recognize that, for me, as a healthcare provider who wants the best for my community, I got to fight with people in my community to give them healthcare? Really? That's what we've come to in 2022. After all this stuff to get you healthcare, you're going to say deny you want it.
Do you think, Mario, that the two taboos that people, especially Americans, have not been able to deal with is racism and the sexual evolution and the lack of education and healthcare as it's all bundled together, that those two subjects just seem never to evolve to a better place?
Because we won't confront them. Let's admit, the topics I raised today made all of us feel uncomfortable. But that's what I'm saying. Why it's an uncomfortable thing to discuss. But it has to be done. Remember, I'm frank and so frank about things because I'm a physician.
Right.
You know, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, period, regardless of whether you don't want to hear that emotionally. I'm going to tell you the truth. So your kids are having sex. They're having it in your own house while you're there a lot of the times. Your little girl is blowing her friends right there in your house while you're watching TV in the living room. Okay? This is what's happening. Okay? So you don't want to deal with that? Okay. Go on. All right? But that's what's happening. And they need to be educated about this, because when we don't educate them, we're leaving them out there alone. Understand the way I take that as a person and as a pediatrician. You're leaving them out there alone. And they're looking for help. They literally are looking for help.
Direction.
They ask their friends if they got an older cousin, but it should be you. It should be you, their parent, who goes to them and tells them, I want to talk about this. And you're drinking. You going to the party tonight? You know, they start trying to drink and sneak the alcohol around. Don't be the one, okay? Don't be the one. Okay? But anyway, we'll be back with some ethos.
Playing from Mario's iPad.
But first,
4.
let's have a little music. You need us to take a smoke after that?
Yeah.
I know. I warned you.
Yeah.
I warned you.
You got kind of deep.
Look how you look now.
tops, like pink so soft, small braids, Kool-Aid, melon in the shade. Cute boys, first jobs, divas being snobs. Telephone, internet, computer, barbecues, pool parties, overnight stays. Little drinking, little kissing, playing these games. Boys trying to bag him, then the next day brag him, but you didn't want to kiss him cause he had that dragon. Laughing till you pee, hoping homies don't see. Cut a little grass for some gas money. Chilling at the malls, getting sticky with the paws. You did it for the rush like a rebel with no cause. Rebel with no cause, rebel with no cause. You want attention, said you looking for applause. See, we were fizzle laws, didn't have a clause. It was the summertime to us, it had no flaws. Rebel with no cause, rebel with no cause. You want attention, said you looking for applause. See, we were fizzle laws, didn't have a clause. It was the summertime to had no flaws.
This is for me.
At the hoop court 3 straight hours, white mini skirts with the airbrush flowers. We went to cheer the lads and they appreciated that. And you would almost die when he let you wear his cap. You might have told a lie and abbreviated facts if you came home late and were accused of being baked. Me, I didn't smoke, no, mama, I swear. She's only gonna judge me and you know it ain't fair. Trips to the beauty shop, keeping fresh hair. Blowing $80 at the damn state fair. Beach body surfing with the abs looking perfect. Hitting all the clubs, getting love on the surface. From ice cream cones to the Starbucks stones to your new best friend to your breakup song. They all play out like your favorite days. We love the summertime and it ain't gonna change. Rebel with no cause, rebel with no cause. You want attention, said you looking for applause. See, we were fizzle laws, didn't have a clause. It was the summertime to us, it had no flaws. Rebel with no cause, rebel with no cause. You want attention, said you looking for applause. See, we were fizzle laws, didn't have a clause. It was the summertime to had no flaws.
This is for me.
Now, here at Morning Coffee with Mario, we have been taking increasing pride in our gear. In other words, we have been trying as black men to present to you a certain kind of swag, a certain kind of cool. And so part of that experiment and expression has been the wardrobe of none other than Omari Bakari. So, you know, Vic.
I have to interrupt. Mari, you may have to adjust because our unbelievable camera system is running long. Unfortunately, cannot fire back up again, so him speaking, he will not be seen unless he stands next to me.
Well, come over there, Omari.
Or sit next to Mario. Either one.
Well, at least let them see you.
Did I break the camera already?
No. It's just, we know what it is. It's the overflow.
We can't just reformat it?
I can right now if you want to give me another musical break.
Okay.
Just a little musical break, and then Amari can sit right there.
Another musical break.
I just need about, a couple of minutes, man. Because right now I'm not going to be able to juggle this whole subject. And then when Amari starts speaking, they're going to go, how come I see black screen? So it happened right when the fade out came, and so I want to apologize to the public.
So Mari's face fucked up the camera?
Yes, it did.
I told y'all to just let me be the voice.
See, that's why when you have a face like that, you just have to sit on it. You just have to sit on it just to keep it off the...
Oh, no, it's even more than that. You're going to have to...
Lord.
It is... this is one of those things where you just sit there and go, we ran it, battery needs to be recharged.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time,
Yeah,
Victor
yeah.
Allen is going to format the
Yeah.
camera card, allowing us to focus on Omari Bakari. And while he's doing that, Omari Bakari will explain to you why he's wearing an Iowa State sweatshirt. Omari?
Yeah, You know, everybody knows I'm a Howard man.
Oh, you said it was
Normally, if
Howard.
I'm going to wear a collegiate sweatshirt, it's going to be a HU, Howard University sweatshirt. But today, I have on, as you probably noticed before I broke the camera, I had on an Iowa State University sweatshirt.
You can step over to where Vic is.
Yeah. Yeah, now, if you don't mind standing, brother, or I can give you a high
No, he's
score.
cool.
You cool? All right. So that way, because this is what
And
we
you can
do.
use your mic.
Yeah,
Because his
Yeah,
face
just
broke
on
the
this side
camera
over
on
here.
the other one.
yeah.
Face broke the.
Yeah, there you go.
Not me, ladies and gentlemen.
So you get right here,
I
my
had
brother.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah. And we used to do this back in the day. I used to actually prefer people actually standing next to the mic.
Well, let him go on. He can use your mic and
There you go.
deliver the piece.
That's right.
Well, so,
Step over to the mic and deliver.
so the reason I have on the Iowa State
He has to step over to the mic.
and not the Howard University gear, I just want everybody to know that there are some universities that there's some black folks who went to. For example, Iowa State University was the first land grant college in the country. The first black student to attend Iowa State University was George Washington Carver, which he was also the first black graduate from Iowa State. Now, when he left there, he was courted by a variety of universities, but he went down to Grambling State University. No, I'm sorry, Tuskegee State University, where he began to teach as a professor. So that's why I'm wearing the Iowa State, but I want y'all to know it's all about the HBCU. And the best one, of course, is Howard University. HU.
All right.
There you go, bro.
But you do look good with the red, though. I have to say that,
Bro, man, it's cool.
even though it's
That's
Iowa
cool.
State. As a Howard alumni, I personally was willing to give you that leeway. There's a time limit to this, though. Like you're not allowed to wear that like multiple weeks in succession. But if a couple times a year you break out the Iowa State and I like the hat with it, my brother. I noticed the hat and the
I have to add a little
sweatshirt.
flavor to it. Like my daughter says, we're a bunch of old cool nerds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, old cool nerds. But then we get lost in the future, lost in change, and to remind us of where things are, and to remind us of the spirit of a culture, an era, and a community. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Allen's Ethos.
Somebody said that we need to dance more often on this show just to lighten stuff up. And I'm going to do my best. To try to dance somewhere within the last decade of dances, because a lot of us get caught in a time warp. But I'm glad that we're going to do something more lighthearted. It's hard to follow up that delivery by Mario. It is really hard. This is where if you had popcorn, you take a break. If you had wine, you take a break. If you had any common sense, you take a break. But if you want relaxation, I'll give you some good news. And then some highlights. So take a deep breath. You guys ready for this? See what he does? He's about to relax. See, this is part. Now imagine if I just sat there and said, Mario, let's take it to the cave. Mario would have gave me that side eye. He would have gave me that side eye while he was talking about Joe Biden not cracking a smile. Okay. All right, let me give you something that most of you may know, and if you don't, it's my education. That's because it's my ethos. HBCU, historically black college universities. So, which ones may or may not be, because there is a caveat to this delivery today, but I'm going to start off with some information that may inspire you. I'm going to find out from the twin brothers in the room because they went to the same university. Okay, today the nation's 106 HBCUs make up just 3% of American colleges and universities. Yet they produce 20% of all African American graduates and 25% of African American graduates in the STEM fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, the critical industries of the future. Are those good numbers to be proud of, brothers from Howard University? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
They can be better, but those
It
are
could be
great
better,
numbers.
but those are good.
Okay, good.
They've always been the developers of black leadership. That's why my father wanted me to go there.
Right.
Because it was a recognized thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, interesting. When I did my search of HBCUs, because I always try to stay up with the Google Times, Mario always reminds people search, and I search a lot. When I bring up HBCUs in general sense, do you know what I come up with most of the time? I'm going to see if you guys can understand it. Typically, you think you're going to come up with the framework of HBCUs, the universities and colleges, but you know the one picture that comes up most of the time is cheerleading bands, fraternities.
Well, party, but
And
that's
it's
not
squad.
just Let's be, in all fairness, it's not just HBCUs. When you pull up colleges today,
That's right.
they tend to show you partying college
Yeah,
people.
but wait a minute.
This is just the black people.
Well, it's a percentage. Listen, I know where he's going.
Yeah, like I'm
I
saying,
did the search.
More weaves and pressed hair down.
No. See, I wanted to. See, here we go.
Okay,
I
I'm
wanted to
saying.
dispel something because I know where
Glad my
this is
camera's
going.
broke.
See, I know where this is going, and I'm dead serious
You're
about
leading us
this.
there.
I'm dead.
You know where it's going. He set this up.
Right.
Where I know where this is going.
Wait
Where
a
else?
minute.
Where else
Yeah,
can this
sure.
go?
Right. Where else?
Lord.
Wait, because I stumbled upon. Isn't that an app? Stumbled upon. Okay. I stumbled upon that almost every time I searched an image or GIF with the term HBCU leadership, 80% of the images were either like fraternities, battle bands, and cheering squads. That's because they're probably more active. It's not because that's the choice. It's just that's where they permeate.
That's the way the search mechanisms work.
Right.
If you're at an HBCU,
Right.
what are you looking at?
Right. There
Now,
you go.
certainly Omari and I
Right.
were more focused on our studies.
Well, this looks like Alabama State University. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
I wouldn't know. I was in the library.
You're
I
right.
went to the library.
With my hands in my lap and my hands in my pockets, not counting change.
Oh, okay. So for me, I look at this as you provide the art, the creative arts, and is this a creative art image? Yes or no?
One can
I would-
interpret it that way.
I
Yes.
think so.
Yes.
That's
It's
creative.
depending on my
And it's
position.
art.
It's creative and certainly artful.
Yeah.
Yes. And way better than it was in the past. All right.
Well, it was pretty good in the past too.
It was, but if you-
Yeah, it was good.
it was.
natural.
Of course, you're reminiscing.
Natural.
We're gonna let you get away with that.
Well, I mean, this is part of the HBCU
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes,
experience.
it is.
You go to a HBCU, they have a bomb-ass marching band, they have some dancing girls.
Howard.
But,
Except
yeah,
Howard.
Right.
except Howard. We had a little bitty band, but they were bad. What are they called? The sound jukebox?
Right.
What?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, what Howard had was, a lot of other things that went on in the fine
Yeah,
arts
we had
department.
fine
There-
arts.
There was business.
Right,
uh,
All right.
School
stop.
communication.
Yeah,
we had,
we had
a
that.
FM station.
Sure.
TV station.
Yeah.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
Howard did have some good. The dance girls in Howard were
We
the bomb.
didn't have no good cheerleaders.
Well, wasn't much to cheer for.
Good. See,
You know what? Stop. Here we go. I'm trying to keep the level up and
Okay,
positive.
the other gentleman.
So because to me, this is the energy. And sometimes the energies may lead you on a pathway of a greater success if you get past the point of what they call creative movement. Okay? So, question real quick. Is Middle Tennessee State University a HBCU? Hesitation.
I don't know. I don't remember. Never heard of.
I've never heard of it.
I've
either.
never heard of.
It is not. Middle Tennessee State University is ranked 288th in all the national universities. It seems it would be that way, but it is not. And if you look at the numbers for the ethnic makeup, it's 65% white, 17% Black or African American, 6.8% Hispanic or Latino, 4% Asian, 3.6 two or more races, and on and on and on. But I discovered that because I literally wanted to recognize a certain achievement from somebody who recently graduated. So I thought the best thing to do was go ahead and show you that you should stand tall, Vanessa Reed. I want to congratulate you on her recent graduation this past Saturday from Middle Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
Her major is integrated social studies.
Yes.
And so she's going to be out there in the healthcare field really helping because that's her background and is needed in this environment that we have today. And instead of me sitting back and explaining more, I want to go ahead and play the video of my little dedication to recognize that you stand tall, VR. Stand tall because you did a good job. And we'll go ahead and let it play. Thank you, Mario.
Vanessa Osley. When you finally get a booty.
Time to fly the grind to find I know. Grind to find the blind mind to show. Keep the flow, I know to let it go. Off the top the dome, I let it blow. Get it like, oh, wanna get flow, but I keep that, oh. Wanna get team, but I got that, whoa. Wanna get team, but you got that, whoa. Get it like, everybody wanna chill, wanna feel like, woo. Hold up on the scene, but I green like, ooh. Wanna be the flop, but I thought you knew. Wanna get chill, what you really wanna do? I see them haters, they be talking, walking all the time. Often putting them in the coffin, boffin' when they say rhyme. Pretty girl dance on the
Congratulations.
Congratulations, VR. Big step. It only just begins. And yes, please don't look at that song as a deterrent. It's an enhancement. Because it is true. Pretty girls do dance, don't they?
They sure do. And as I like to say to all the graduates immediately upon graduation, show me the money. Show me the money and make sure you're saving and following all the appropriate things because Uncle Sam is the other one in the back who's clapping also.
He's just sitting there waiting.
Yes.
Another tax-paying graduate.
Yes, yes,
Give it up.
absolutely. Okay, moving on right ahead because I know I have to keep this moving. I want to give congratulations to Bowie State University. I believe it's in Maryland.
Yeah.
They basically will make history, maybe even the History Channel, if they are selected to participate in the first BSU A+E Networks Apprentice Program, designed to give students virtual, real-life experience in several content areas such as entertainment, production, and communications. This is the first A+E Apprentice Program ever offered, and the organization selected BSU, Maryland, first HBCU to participate. Is that some good news for you guys?
That's good
That's
news.
good.
There you go.
I was always suspect whether or not Bowie was an HBCU, but I guess they fall in that category.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
absolutely.
they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's but Maryland's education department took over the HBCUs in Maryland. So really the one that is known is Morgan.
That's the
But-
one I know.
right.
But they have Bowie, Eastern Shores, Maryland Eastern Shores.
Oh, Maryland Eastern Shore, right. I did know Maryland Eastern Shore.
Yeah, Bowie is a nice campus, though. A very nice campus.
Where part of Maryland
It's
is?
in Bowie, Maryland. It's outside of Columbia, Maryland, which is
Well, that's not that far.
it's between D.C. and Baltimore.
Yeah,
Right-
okay,
right
but
between
that's
DC
not
and
far.
Baltimore.
right. Very
Nice
good.
campus.
All right, moving right along, getting close to what I call the topic of discussion, but this right now, I want to give a present situation of the HBCU rankings in 2022, the top 25 historically black colleges and universities, and they have ties also. So you're not going to get 25s, but you're going to get people that, or excuse me, organizations that are tied. So Prairie View A&M, Lincoln University, Fayetteville, Bowie State University all tied for 24th. But as you go down the list, I want to see, do you find a university that's now number one, where I thought the great Howard University would be number one? It is Spelman. How do you feel about it? Howard alumnus in the room.
It don't bother me. I want to go to Spelman myself to visit. We should go to Spelman just to ensure the fairness of this evaluation. And certainly our visiting Spelman would have nothing to do with the gathering of intelligent, gifted, beautiful, and available black females in the numbers in which we will find them. It has nothing to do with that. Mine is purely a experiment on seeing whether or not Omari Bakari and I will be able to merge successfully with them in order to better broadcast the inner workings from the dormitories late at night when their parents aren't home.
You ever seen the longest political bullshit speech?
Yeah, but done? So the list is this list isn't accurate, and that's why I would question whether or not Spelman's actually the number one college. You have Jackson State on there tied with Norfolk State and Clark University at number 18.
Right.
I have to tell you, Jackson State, even though Mississippi is probably one of the worst states in the union, Jackson State has an excellent communications and business program. And of course, they got Deion Sanders down there coaching the football team. I think they just won the SWAC. But now Jackson State should be up there in the top 10. Now Morehouse,
I do it.
Morehouse, they need to take a little slide. I don't know how they're tied with. Okay, see, Hampton's number 4.
Right, Xavier number 3, University of Louisiana.
Okay, the list is skewed.
The list is skewed toward the bourgeois, too. Remember that. Yes. As you go up closer to number 1, they get richer and lighter. They get richer and lighter.
Stop.
As you go up.
Yes.
As you come down to Dillard and Tougaloo, they kind of black. They got some black ones down there. They got some real. Lord. Yeah, now, but as you start moving up through Fisk, North A&T, Florida A&M, they're still a little country, you know. But as you get up into Morehouse, Hampton, Xavier, and Howard, and Spelman, now you get into that ones where they parents, you know.
Fisk has those beautiful Tennessee stallions. Lord.
Okay, now what year are you guys talking about?
Any year.
Okay.
And you know,
the last time you guys have been?
The reference that Omari made to the stallions, I have no understanding whatsoever what he
year?
Would mean.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
You don't have Tennessee State's drill team on here?
See, here we go.
Now you're giving us requests on the desktop.
That belongs at the
already
top of the
making,
segment.
find me.
The GIFs that I provided, I should
wasn't
include
good
them.
enough what we already did.
All right, now here's the real subject here. This is best parties ranking of all universities. All universities. And where the particular HBCUs fall. Of course, you have North Carolina A&T State University at 49,
Damn.
48 Morehouse, 36 Florida A&M, and I bolded that because Mario has a great affinity for the state of Florida. Clark Atlanta University at 21, and Howard at 5. That means of all colleges, not just HBCUs.
Yeah, well, see,
can you guys confirm?
I don't agree.
Well, I always thought that was the art of going to Howard, knowing how to party and study simultaneously.
Because Howard, okay, to me, I agree with Omari. And for those reasons, to me, Howard really didn't come off as a party school to me. It just really didn't. I used to be marveling at the girls' dorms on the weekends, right? Sometimes we and my boys, of course, we're hanging out in front of the girls' dorm, wondering why we ain't got none. But the girls' dorm is full of women.
Yeah.
Didn't it amaze you on Saturday night where it would be the girls' dorm, they would be hanging out the windows, and we'd be like, we'd be talking a little shit, after having a little alcohol.
A little brick wall.
Why don't y'all come on down? Yeah, we would invite them down. But I would go like, why are all the women in the dorm on Saturday night?
Somebody said, what decade?
Okay.
Well, now, see, on this list, you got Morehouse College, number 48.
Right.
That would appear to be right. I mean, how much partying could a bunch of guys do with each other?
Is this the ranking? I want to make sure these are you got them in a certain order up here. That's
Right.
not the order in which they're ranked.
If you guys want to go to
You're
my
saying
ethos,
this is that in the ranking, this is where the HBCUs come in.
that's where they
Yeah,
fall.
I
in.
don't agree. I would not agree. I don't think Howard, and still when you go there, I said, even now, okay, compared to who? Compared to who?
Right, 'cause
Everybody down south seemed like they partied harder than us when I was there. No offense. I don't know
But-
what you thought, Amari.
And I
But everybody
think-
down south seemed like they partied harder.
well, don't get it twisted. These white kids
Oh, they
party
were at
and
Maryland,
drink,
University of
and,
Maryland.
I mean,
Oh yeah, they were blowing. Okay, the University of Maryland, they were streaking. They had a streaking back. This is back in the days of streakers. Okay, they had like 500 people streaking across campus nude.
Are they still streaking today?
Yeah.
I didn't streak because I didn't
Well-
want you to laugh.
I just want to know. See,
Mari didn't
you gotta-
streak because he would have tripped.
See, I've already just left out the building with any commentary because you have to kind of give it a time relevance. You guys have to look back in the day now. Things can change in a year or two. Look, Deion Sanders went to Jackson
still
State
part that
and
pubic
flipped it
hair in
in
the
1
middle.
year. Right?
You know, last time I was at Howard's homecoming, one of those young girls walked up to me and smacked me on the behind and told me I had swag for an old alumni dude.
See, I brought up.
That's
the-
all
That
the
shit
young.
made my day.
Yeah, you still remember.
Yeah.
You haven't even washed that cheek, have you?
Young fine young ladies. Obviously smart.
You know what?
And with good taste.
Right. Like I said,
And
you
a
guys.
sense of bravado.
I wasn't trying to go down the memory lane. I did provide some links in my ethos. There's a link that's already out there in Twitter and Facebook and extra. So you can go and see if you can add contrast to this. This has been my ethos.
I don't agree.
It's been my ethos.
I don't know.
They say the OGs are always sitting back going, I'm suspect. I'm suspect. Come on now. You don't want to be the OGs looking like the OGs and rebelling like the OGs.
Well, I'm sure these kids are having a lot of fun
It's
doing
all
whatever they do.
Remember now, we're in social media. You're not even accounting for that.
Yeah.
That right there is putting you out in a whole different
Yeah.
space.
See, we
Well,
used
ladies
to
and
have
gentlemen, it's interesting. That's our broadcast, even though I would say this. We're only 20 minutes over. But we're changing the standards. Right, Vic? Because we could go on.
Listen. I looked at the clock on you, and you could have done a full hour and left mine
Yeah,
out.
you can't have a topic like abortions. That was a heck of a topic.
Yeah.
Well, we got what I said, and that was just an introduction to the
Yeah.
topic. Because I couldn't get into the topic because after I read my first preliminary stuff with Mari, I was like, oh, Lord. I was ready to debate Planned Parenthood of... But we can, because we got to deal with, at least, okay, I tried to warn, true to us, I warned my,
Not too many people are
my
saying too much.
coworkers. I had my coworkers about this, and we're going to be getting to it too. But it is one of those things that needs to be discussed in the black community. It's a hot topic. It's also a topic where people actually have some interesting opinions because, despite those black numbers, right, people really have an impression that the issue, not the numbers, the issue of abortion rights being a white woman's issue. In other words, in the black community, they'll even say, well, that's what the white women fight about. That's what they care about. Okay, that's what they say in the black community. Okay, and we need to recognize it's our issue.
Right.
And you're not hearing that. That's what I'm saying. You're not hearing black people address Roe versus Wade as if it's a black issue. And Omari, that's what happened to me. After I read my stuff, it became a black issue for me. So, Omari, you got stuff coming up soon too.
Yeah, we've got. We're going to be down in Compton again, working with the Key of Knowledge down at Tucker Park. There's 3 communities right around that park that the Key of Knowledge will provide after-school programs. We're going to do a drone camp with them and actually do a little documentary on what that organization has been doing down in Compton. And we're also going to be launching this cannabis project. There will be a cannabis networking, a loyalty program for cannabis businesses, and we hope to have a lot of discussion around the health issues related to cannabis, the legal issues related to cannabis. So we're excited about that. And then Mario and I and Vic will explore doing a format like The Quiet Storm, where we get to play some real nice music for folks our age and for some young folks who want to know what folks our age are listening to. So that's what's coming up.
Vic, what about you?
I'm just going to see if I can get a fellowship with the HBCU subject part 2, because I noticed that it really stimulated you guys, and you are actually rebelling against the success of HBCUs this morning by saying you don't believe the rankings. So I'm going to continue that effort. I will continue that effort. See, when you get the room not to believe, you do a part 2, because then you got to bring the gunpowder. Please, you guys, not a gun. Okay. Not a,
So there it is.
This is metaphor.
We'll be back next week. Omari Bakari. Give it up for the man in red, everybody.
Yeah.
Victor Allen. Sexual Chocolate. That's right, and Mario Hemsley, the slow hand of the dead man. Give it up.
First
Yeah.
off, I'm not your regular dude. I bust moves like a young MC. Yeah, sorta, that would be me. Got me thinking about putting down the mic one day. Then I get some more love. Thanks for the love you gotta play. Hey, what can I say? I'm a Leo to the finish, man. I love God, so my faith won't diminish me. Once I step up to the mic, I speak truth. Hip hop wasn't designed to expose the black youth, but somewhere along the lines we dropped the ball. Yeah, I mean that man in the mirror, yeah, that ball dude. But now I'm back to right the wrongs of my past world. So let me walk this off my list like my name's Earl. Articulate my thoughts clearly like Professor Les. Do you remember Rap City with Deja and Les? I'm looking at the front door, that's the main source. You fool, yeah, wait till I hit you with the main course. I was spitting when you was a kid. You doing what I did, you know I still got it. Why you brag about it? I be on solo, making my money's grow residual. I'm individual, nobody's got my DNA. I was spitting when you was a kid. You doing what I did, you know I still got it. Why you brag about it? I be on solo, making my money's grow residual. I'm individual, nobody's got my DNA. I'd rather listen to Tribe or shit alone. You like my raps, but really I write songs. I like to do it like this once in a while to show some versatility and make you all smile. It's been a long time coming, I know, I feel it too. The more I take a break, it's like the more I break through. With my timeless space boy funk, I'm on point. You bless this microphone every time I anoint the pen and pad. I face the bad head on. Escape inside the music, see my diary's a song it's on. Till I write my next verse, then I go again. Into the studio, I feel I gotta flow again. This ain't just music to me, it's like my recipe. To be honest, it's more creative tranquility. This ain't just music to me, it's like my recipe. To be honest, it's more creative tranquility. I was spitting when you was a kid. You doing what I did, you know I still got it. Why you brag about it? I be on the solo, making my money's grow residual. I'm individual, nobody's got my DNA. I was spitting when you was a kid. You doing what I did, you know I still got it. Why you brag about it? I be on the solo, making my money's grow residual. I'm individual, nobody's got my DNA. They say they get me, I don't think they ever got me. My name's Kowalski, but they call me Kawasaki. Online I'm funds, but in real life I'm more like Chachi or Cola. I told you, I'm funky like granola. Bars, can't you see that I'm a star? Who pumps his own gas in the cold really fast? As I pass on your gold digging stash. I'd rather make my own money, not advance me loan money. No, I was spitting when you was a kid. You doing what I did, you know I still got it. Why you brag about it? I be on the solo, making my money's grow residual. I'm individual, nobody's got my DNA. I was spitting when you was a kid. You doing what I did, you know I still got it. Why you brag about it? I be on the solo, making my how money's grow residual. I'm individual, nobody's got my DNA.
So there you go.
Nobody's got my DNA. Nobody's got my DNA. Nobody's got my DNA.
Alexa, begin playlist broadcast transition.
Your playlist, Broadcast Transition, on Amazon Music.
So long.